everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my June fragrances in review. I'll be sharing with you which fragrances fell into some kind of award categories, and then also doing a top 3, a bottom 3, and a meh, not quite sure category. Shall we jump in? Before we do so, please drop in the comments which fragrance you wore the most in June and maybe which one you liked the most. So let's go right to it. I'm going to start with the category of Best Blind Buy. I heard about this fragrance through Marcelena Teresa, also goes by Marcy here on YouTube, and it is Mandarine Basilic or Basilic, not quite sure how to say that. It's Aqua Allegoria's line from Guerlain. This fragrance was gorgeous. By the way, June was the month of like summery, beachy, coconutty fragrances with a few others sprinkled in that you'll hear about. This fragrance here, to be a citrus, lasted like forever. There's a lot of orange in here. There's clementine, there's mandarin orange, there's a basil note. This, to be a citrus fragrance, let me say, lasted super long. I did layer this over, I think it's called Lemon Zest, a Body Shop body yogurt, which did really nice as a base for this. But on its own, I've worn this on its own before to test it, and it lasts a good 6 to 8 hours on its own, layered over the lotion. This bad boy went the whole day. I applied it early in the morning, probably around 6 a.m. I could still smell it at dinner time, which was around 5 or 6 a.m. in the evening for me. So about 12 hours, I would say maybe in the 8-hour mark, it started to sort of settle down and fade a bit. But Mandarin Basilic is beautiful. It is an orange and basil bomb, very heavy, like a sweet but yet sharp and tart citrus. And it's got a little chamomile in here as well, and some sandalwood and amber in the base, but is a very heavy orange fragrance, has a little tea as well. The tea, the orange, and the basil are beautiful in the opening and in the dry down. Mandarin Basilic, Best Blind Buy. Next, let's talk about the best everyday scent. This is a fragrance that, especially here in the summertime, as it continues to get hotter and hotter, I'm thinking about a fragrance that can both last in the heat, do well in the heat without being cloying, and be good for the entire day. It could go from morning to night quite easily. And it is Virgin Mint by Carolina Herrera from the Confidential line. I ended up purchasing about 4 from this line and recently a 5th. And I have a video on that you're welcome to go see. I'll link it below. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Not to mention that the bottle is absolutely spectacular to me, with a really heavy magnetic luxe top on it. Heavy bottle here. Anyway, this is a really pretty bergamot fragrance. It's very fresh and clean. It's citrusy, it's aromatic, it's just light to wear, really delightful. You need to like bergamot and you need to like mint to enjoy this fragrance. It is called Virgin Mint. Mint is in the base here with white musk. And it's light and it's citrusy and it's pretty. A man could pull this off too. It's a very unisex fragrance, and I like it. It gives me, oh, it's just so lovely. It also has a little vetiver in there, which I think adds some interesting character to the fragrance. But it's like fresh out of the shower, but in a minty way, not a soapy way. Virgin Mint, Carolina Herrera, excellent for spring, summer, maybe even early fall. Although I can see this also being incredibly pretty in the winter, in the cold, with that mint note really being highlighted in cold weather. The next category is which of the fragrances that I wore in June would make the best gift for someone else. And I have to go with Aerin's Hibiscus Palm. I don't think everyone loves this, but I think a lot of people really, really like this and love it. Enough that it would be maybe a safe gift to give to someone. And is considered by many to be just this luxurious, tropical, yellow, and there's some white florals in here too, kind of fragrance, a little hint of coconut. Really quite a nice fragrance. It's got frangipani, white flowers, little vanilla, little musk. I call it my resort fragrance, one that I would wear in a tropical resort. I'll wear this anyway. I'll wear this around my house, y'all. But for the sake of the video and entertainment, a tropical resort fragrance. The longevity maybe isn't the best. I got maybe a half day to 6-ish hours out of this before I had to reapply. But I would think most people would consider this a nice gift, and it is very feminine. So Aerin, Hibiscus Palm. The next category is which of these fragrances is the most sensual or sexy, which is my best come hither kind of fragrance. And surprisingly, it is Sunkissed Hibiscus from Nest. So this is a fragrance that I didn't want to like because I'm not super crazy about the Nest line in general. Nice fragrances overall, but there's something about them that I just am not compelled to, go like stock up on them. But this one here, I got a sample in a Sephora sale and just fell in love and knew I had to have it. This is a coconut fragrance. It's very tropical. It's lactonic. It's got some tuberose in it. It has a nice frangipani note, gardenia, and some amber in the base. It is warm and sensual. It lasted pretty decently on me. I'd say 6-ish or so hours. So to me, when I think about how long fragrances last, I typically think of, did it last the morning? Did it last the afternoon? Did it take me through evening? So this is one that goes through the morning to about lunchtime, maybe a little after, before I felt like I needed to reapply. I could still smell this on my skin, so it calmed down into like a skin scent around that time. But if you want that beautiful opening coconut frangipani combination, you'll need to reapply later in the day. I find this to be a very alluring, warm, inviting fragrance where someone might want to nuzzle up to you and smell you. Hibiscus, not hibiscus. Sunkissed Hibiscus from Nest. Next category is the best special occasion fragrances. There are several that can go in here. I'm talking about an occasion where you're dressed up, you want other people to notice your fragrance is competing with a lot of other big, beautiful smells in the room that other people have on, right? Everybody's wearing a tux or a ball gown. Yeah, like we are going to those events. But let's just imagine that we are, and which of the fragrances in my June lineup would work best in that situation. I am choosing Rare Tiffany by Afnan. So let's talk about this fragrance. I learned about this through my friend Chris at the Perfume Nest as an affordable gem. Affordable meaning, I think this is in the $30 to $50 range if I'm not mistaken. It has some citrus at the top, a peony note, there's some fruit and caramel, and then raspberry and pepper. It also has rose, sandalwood, and aquatic tones in the base. What I can tell you about this fragrance is that it reminds me of 80s and 90s beautiful powerhouse florals that have some deep sort of musky and aquatic notes in them. Think like Issey Miyake meets Michael from Michael Kors, remember that, meets Amarige, and you kind of smash those all together, soften up any harsh edges, and you've probably got something close to Rare Tiffany. It is a bomb of a fragrance. It's beautiful going on. It wears well, and it's just a very pretty scent. I would say it's on the mature side, not a young flirty fragrance. It's one of those grown sexy kinds of fragrances. Great for special occasion. I think it could hold its own against other powerhouse fragrances. Rare Tiffany, Afnan. The next category is the best for the season. The best for the season. There's so many possibilities here. I am probably going to go with good old Estee Lauder's Bronze Goddess. I had a number of beautiful coconut kinds of fragrances that could go here, but let's stick with Bronze Goddess, which gives you some suntan lotiony kind of thing going on, but more so it's like an exotic evening at the beach kind of fragrance. I really like this. This is the 2017 formulation, if I remember correctly. There are different formulations for different years. I would advise if you can find this one in the bronze bottle, it is the best to me. I've tried a few. This is the best. Bronze Goddess, and this is the Eau de Parfum concentration. Best summer fragrance, a great fragrance for the evening in the summertime, by the way. This is not your like, I mean, you can wear it during the day. Certainly I wore it for a whole day in June and did quite well, but it's pretty. There's something kind of grown up about Bronze Goddess. I really, really like it. Some of the notes included in Bronze Goddess are, there's a nice ginger and bergamot at the top, which is super, it's like an interesting combination considering that coconut follows it in the middle with frangipani and jasmine sambac. And you get a nice vanilla cashmere wood ambery base with a hint of musk. Next is going to be the biggest surprise of all the fragrances that I wore in June. And there's no question to me that the biggest surprise in a good way, I could talk about some surprises in a bad way, but I'll save that for the bottom three. It is Carolina Herrera Sandal Ruby. So when I did my confidential line video, I talked about this as being one that both my husband and I completely were shocked by and fell in love with. And it may seem surprising that we wore this in the summer when you hear that the description is that this is warm, it's spicy, it's got this beautiful cinnamon note at the top and some black pepper. It has tuberose in it, although I wouldn't say it's very tuberose forward, and sandalwood in the base. But it is, like I said, warm and spicy, makes a great winter fragrance. I happened to wear this in June on a day that it was a little bit cooler and rainy, and it worked well into 70-degree weather. I probably would not dare wear this in like 90-degree heat. It would be way too much. I would advise that everybody pick this up if you like those heavy hitter, gorgeous, sexy fragrances. So this could have gone in the sexy category too, but I put it in biggest surprise because my husband and I were both like, wow about this fragrance. Next is one that I wouldn't recommend blind buying. So there's a few here, but I am going to say one that I actually like, that I think a lot of people would not like because it is a bit peculiar. The fragrance that I'm referring to is from Ellis, Brooklyn, and it's called Salt. Excellent for summertime. Love this blue bottle. So pretty, reminds me of jumping into the deep end of a pool. It has ylang-ylang and violet leaves at the top. So even in the opening, if you're not a fan of ylang-ylang or the violet thing doesn't suit you, you might actually not be into this all that much. Tiara flower and magnolia in the middle, and then ambergris, musk, and sandalwood in the base. It leans a little masculine, and I think that might be what's off-putting for especially women who wear this, who would prefer a softer, more feminine, floral or fruity or flirty kind of fragrance. This is a bit serious of a summertime scent, and it's salty, as the name implies, and it leans a little bit masculine. It's a little like sweaty skin with sunblock on it that's been baking in the sun for a while, mixed with like the hot air of the beach. Does that make sense? Like when sand heats up and you're sitting out there, you've come back and you've spent a long day sort of just jumping waves in the ocean, and the sun has been beating you down. That smell that comes up off of your skin combined with a little bit of ocean water. I love it. I think it is gorgeous. So that is my not safe blind buy category. Now let's get into the top three, the bottom three, and my meh, maybe on the chopping block category. So my top three are pretty easy to pick out. And that's not to say that I didn't have a lot of other winners in the month of June, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to narrow it down to my very favorite three of the bunch. And so I opened up talking about it, and I'm going to say it again: Mandarine, Basilic, or Basilic, however that is said. And I'm sure someone out there knows, so why don't you let us know in the comments. Give us the phonetic saying of Basilic. From the Aqua Allegoria Guerlain line. I would give this as a citrus fragrance probably an 8 or a 9 because of its intensity and its longevity, and it is so pleasant to wear. Beautiful, but you have to like what comes across almost as like a lime fragrance. Even though it's orange and basil, it kind of combines to give you this like deep lime with sugar and salt combined kind of fragrance. So that's one. Of course, you knew Sandal Ruby was going to make it into the top 3. This is so good. My husband and I argue over this. Go check out the video. I have a couple of jokes in there about that. But it's sitting on his shelf right now. It was supposed to be for me. He outright stole it. My husband stole it from me and refuses to give it back. I'd have to slide it back onto my shelf and it's going back on his. But anyway, I went ahead and bought a backup for myself. That's how much we love this. Sandal Ruby. And then this could have been one of the surprises because I didn't expect to like this fragrance. But another one in the top 3 is KKW, Kim Kardashian West, with the big old booty. This is Body 2. This lovely coconut fragrance. Really a fresh, happy coconut fragrance. I enjoyed the heck out of this when I wore it. Okay. Let's now talk about the bottom 3. And let me preface by saying I like all of these fragrances. I enjoy the scents. My issue with these is their longevity and their intensity. Set Sail St. Barts. This is a lime and tequila fragrance that smells awesome on the opening. Really fresh and fun. In fact, a few people commented on a video that I did about aquatic fragrances, marine fragrances, that they liked the lime and tequila note in here. So of course, you know me and FOMO, I had to go get it. And I like this a lot. I just wish that it lasted longer at the intensity that it starts off with and that it was deeper, like a more sort of profound scent, that lime and tequila, but it's nice. So bottom 3, I put it in quotations. It's really about the performance on this one. Same thing for this one, which I like, and I'm keeping this in my collection, and it is Simply Blanc from Just Jack. Just Jack. Who remembers that show? I don't remember the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about, the character that says, Just Jack. Anyway, this is nice. This is a dupe for Soleil Blanc from Tom Ford, and I love it, and I stand behind it. This is a great dupe for Soleil Blanc. I just wish it was deeper, more profound. It's one that I have to layer with a coconut lotion or something like that to sort of amp it up. And I don't mind that at all. The same is true for Soleil Blanc from Tom Ford, by the way, except this one was like $20-something versus Soleil Blanc, which we know Tom Ford wants your firstborn child for his fragrances. And I love Tom Ford. I have a bunch of them. Okay. And then the last one that's in my bottom 3 for similar reasons, not because I dislike it, it is Going Coconuts About Summer from Donna Karan, DKNY, the apple ones. Love this little bottle. This wooden piece here is just so stinking cute. This is like a husky coconut, almost like a woody coconut fragrance, which is super nice. Same complaint. I wish it was deeper. I wish it was stronger. I wish it lasted longer. I think this lasted maybe about half a day, a good like 4, 5, 6 hours on me, which is fine. There's nothing to complain about there. But because I'm being greedy, I'd love for it to last the entire day. And the 3 that are on the chopping block, the meh category, again, I like the sense of all of these. They are just not performing the way that I would love. And it's one that I was in love with when I first got it, and that is Sarah Jessica Parker, New York City Crush. This is coconut and vanilla and some white florals. It comes like that in case you're wondering what transformation the fragrance just went through. It is nice now that I smell it. I wore it. I enjoyed it. It's just so light on the skin that I'm wondering if I need to keep it or not. Or maybe use it as like a bed sheet freshener, an air freshener, or a night fragrance, because it is nice, but it's a little bit meh on the intensity and performance. The other meh fragrance that I am sad about because I paid full price for this sucker, I'm not happy about that, is from Rirana. And this is Coconut Nanas. It's pineapple and it's coconut. It has a beautiful opening to it, but it fades quickly and it becomes like a husky, like a woody skin coconut fragrance. Nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And for the price that I paid for this is 1.7 ounce, and I think it was in the 125 to 150 range, which I'm sorry, is just highway robbery for something that's not going to perform well during the day. So I don't know, 1.7 ounces for that. It's okay. Don't love the packaging with the nautical kind of rope on it. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing just isn't, for me, executed well, and it's very oily on the skin too. So I'm gonna try this some more. I didn't dislike it when I wore it. It just wasn't what I was expecting. And then the other one that's in this really interesting bottle, not like your typical summer fragrance, it's Su Wong Transformation. Are you an eau de parfum? Yes, it's an EDP, and it's a tuberose fragrance. I call it like an aquatic, watery tuberose. It was nice, but it was so light and airy. I am the kind of person that likes to smell my fragrance during the day. I don't want to have to guess whether other people can smell it. I like for people to enjoy my fragrance on me and be able to smell it. I do appreciate this super quirky bottle. And I don't know, so I'm just going to test this a little bit more, and it may potentially go on the chopping block. Those are my June awards, my June top and bottom 3 and miss. Tell me what you think about any of these. Do you have any opinions that you would like to share with folks? Drop it in the comments. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care, friends.